Hello everybody and welcome to a solo casted game. Spawning in at the south of the map we have JSS.Grass, Grass and Groom, playing as Odin. Spawning in at the north side of the map we have State, playing as Thor. We have a bit of a Norse mirror. I know just due to scheduling, Jay and I couldn't cast a lot of these games at the same time, so I figured I would take on one of the Norse mirrors because this is what I've been playing, and I am really excited for this matchup. Not only because Grass is going to be competing in the Underworld Showdown on the 20th, but also because we get to see him playing into Thor, which is definitely going to be happening a lot in that tournament. Thor has popped up to be a very strong primary god, and the recent patch really didn't do a lot that's going to significantly change that. So we'll just have to see how this match goes. Let's take a quick look at the map and just a quick look at the build orders. We've got 5 dwarfs out over here for Thor, pretty standard. A couple gatherers to help just on the wood right now, and I imagine we're going to be transitioning to gold pretty soon. And we do see copper armor coming out right away. And then riding over with Grass, we've got 1 dwarf out on gold. Only 1 dwarf though so far, so a pretty aggressive build to have less dwarfs to try and look for a quicker age up. Looks like he's got potentially 1 more in the queue here. It does look that way, 1 more in the queue, so he's going to get a couple dwarfs up, but we'll see how quick he goes up to the classical age. You can go for a very early timing with Odin, of course, if you're looking to rush your opponent, and that might be what we're looking for, but we'll have to wait and see. Quick relic review. Power attack against myth units, decent relic. Range attack of buildings, combo those together, and that's really strong towers. Myth units cheaper, pretty good. And we've got infantry train faster, so this is probably the cream of the crop for this matchup, whoever can get that relic. It is a huge multiplier, right? What do we have? 25% reduction in train time, so it does make a pretty significant difference. We do see 3rd dwarf coming out, pretty interesting here. And yeah, pretty much what we expect over here, leaving a couple on wood, opting out of the ox cart for the early wood. I think that does make sense for Thor currently. That little bit of extra walking time is less important than getting your upgrades out. So I do like that move, and then just pulling in the hunt right to the town center. So some really classic dwarf play, some Thor play with just a couple gatherers coming out and getting all the armory tech. And what's interesting is we don't see a temple going up from, oh, we get it right away there as soon as I say that, because I was going to say this is pretty late for the temple going up. I guess he may be aging up the second this gets up there. We'll have to see how the timing works out. And I am curious how much scouting we got from State at this point, because that definitely is one of the areas that Thor struggles. And yeah, you can see he's got no visibility on the map right now, not even his second hunt. His berserk's been in the base the entire time pulling in the hunt, and that's the downside of using that berserk for pulling in the hunt, is you can't see anything on the map, and really all you need to find is your second hunt. That's the most important thing. You always have Dwarven Mine in your back pocket, so that's really the one thing you do need to find. So some players are just opting to pull it out after you get the temple up, and then we can get the age up pretty soon after that temple comes up, and he's going to be looking, I expect, for the hunt. We'll see if he's even on the right direction here. No, not going to find it for a while actually. Second hunt out this way, so he's going to have to come out into the map a bit further. And where's the temple? Do we have one? Yeah, we have a forward temple pretty close to that hunt. So actually not finding this could be a really big punish. I think this is how you punish a Thor player, because they are going to run out of food eventually, and if you have to transition not only to berries as a slower gather rate, but to farms eventually, that really slows down the amount of units that you can get out. So I like this play, really great position. I'd love to go back and watch the specific scouting to see if he checked all the hunt nearby and picked this spot for that reason. Also got the relic right there, so we do have myth units cheaper. Since we are opting into Freya, we're going to have the very quick Valkyrie coming out, and we're also going to be able to get multiple of them. So we're going to have multiple Valkyrie out. We do have myth units cheaper. We might see that being leveraged. I do like that move. On the other side, we also have a Freya mirror, so not actually opting for the troll here. I do think healing springs and troll is actually really good for Thor. Your units overall are tankier. You have a better chance of pulling them back from a fight and healing them up. The tough part, especially in the Norse mirror, is where do you put that healing springs? Do you drop it early next to your town center? And we do see the forest fire with just the berserk coming in here. So is he going to actually get a kill? It doesn't look like it, just barely not able to. But we do have the Valkyrie coming out now, going to be able to defend this, push this back, so that age up timing coming in. Other Valkyrie over here from Grass, just hanging out by the temple, getting some infrastructure up. He is going to lose the 1 berserk, but pretty good damage, and that's a lot of low health gatherers. And I think the Valkyrie is going to be coming over here, looking on the other side, expecting the woodcutters to switch positions. I like how he's keeping the low health ones over here on the gold, expecting for a different attack from this angle. But we do have a couple inside of here, so we'll have to see if this Valkyrie gets a good opportunity. And coming in early with the Berserk rather than waiting for the Valkyrie timing, kind of an interesting move there. Counter Valkyrie looking to match up, is probably going to spot it. Looks like just out of vision. We'll see what they see. State is going to see it, and the Valkyrie's coming in, but I think this villager's done for. It's only going to take 2 hits, gets the kill, gets on out. So really nice raid there, and that's the aggression. But we do see over here State attempting to wall in this Valkyrie, and that could be tricky because we also have infrastructure coming up here. What a nice play over here to get that wall up, but it actually looks like he forgot to get that wall. Wow, he almost had it. That was almost a really great micro play, but now we see the rest of the army coming in from Grass here. This is going to be way too big for him to deal with. Looks like the Valkyrie actually going to get caught out, doesn't notice in time that there's Herser all around it, and that Valkyrie's going down. That's going to be it. Valkyrie dead. Berserk likely going down as well with how many Valkyrie that we have out here. And let's go back. I really do want to see what State sees, because I think this shows one of the biggest weakness to Thor's. He doesn't know what's happening out in the map. He tried to get a wall up here, just barely not in time, and he can't see even where the enemy's buildings are. He knows they're kind of over here somewhere, but he doesn't know where they are exactly, and he doesn't know where his next hunt is. And look at the goats. We're running pretty thin here on goats. We're going to have to move somewhere soon. We still have the berries over on the north side of the base, but unless you can push back this attack, and I actually would like to see tower upgrades here. When you're stuck in your base and you know that, don't waste your units for this defense, and that's where I think the Healing Springs is actually really valuable for Thor. I think you could turtle this a lot easier with towers, with Healing Springs. We actually miss a raid on the other side, just getting hit from all angles at this point. This is when I miss Jay, when I miss something like that, in trying to fight out these raiding cav, but we don't have herdmen coming out. We're getting attacked from both angles, and now you've got units in the back of your base. They're faster than your units in your mass, so what do you do to defend this? Running out of goat, moving them to the north side of the town center, but looking really difficult here. And oh, who cares if these horsemen get caught? You know, they're trapped because of the walls, but at most 1 or 2 go down, and eventually they could just fight this and take that fight, and the rest of the units come to support it. So this aggression, I wonder what we're going to see. It feels like we have to slowly start transitioning to farms. We don't have a choice besides that. We need to get some farms. We do have Dwarven Mine, not cast yet, still available, but this mass is significantly bigger. A lot of low health dwarfs right around here. I wonder if they're going to get picked up. Doesn't look like it, just kind of skirmishing back and forth while putting pressure on the other side. Even raiding cav diving into the TC itself. And now here comes a bit more of the skirmish. Really great micro here from Grass, just keeping this pressure on, but not throwing the units away. The second that State turns to try and fight this, he's pulling back a little bit away from the TC, then looking for a better engage. And that's just really impressive micro, while continuing to take care of your economy and everything else that's going on the other side. And we haven't even really been able to look at that, but there's the Dwarven Mine. Interestingly, still quite far from the TC. I almost wonder why we go that far. And now the units here, they're going down quickly. Throwing axeman numbers starting to build up, but it looks like this army is still going to be able to do significant damage. I have to expect somebody to go down. And yeah, it looks like State realizes that he pulls the dwarfs into the tower just for a second, getting back out there, pushing out Grass's army. And let's just switch to Grass's perspective here, because I got to see what sort of infrastructure he has. Pretty sizable raiding cavalry mass, decent production buildings here, a couple great halls, another great hall coming up. We do have the longhouse, and you can just see his villagers are out wherever they want to be. You know, anything on the map is his with this big of a fast mass, and with the Valkyrie, the fact that you can pull back, you can heal up, the entire map is under Grass's control. And as long as he keeps an eye on that hunt, and it looks like we're gonna have some scouts coming out, yeah, and he's seeing for the first time at this point, State, what Grass has out in the map, and that is a very bad sign if you see these buildings up so close to home, especially when you saw where your hunt was right in front of him. That hunt gonna be starting to be taken away here, I expect pretty soon. I expect we're going to pull gatherers up here to take this pretty soon in the future. So we just have the cav trying to scout out at this point, just even see what's on the map. He does find a gold mine. Very nice to see that's there. Of course, we do have the town center, picking up a couple late goats as well. Oh, and he did see the dwarfs, but it's too late. We do have the raiding cav finding this scouting unit. They don't seem to notice quite in time, but the perfect reaction for Grass to have them coming to that direction, protecting the dwarfs. So denying the opportunity for a raid there that might have helped make State feel a little bit better in this game. And he's right back to where he started, just trying to scout. But you can see, like ships in the night, when you see that bigger army near your scouts, you've got to get out of here. And I wonder if Grass is saying, we don't care about your scouts. I'm gonna go straight to your base. We don't see any heroic age timings coming up, but with this big of a raiding cavalry mass, I feel like he could just dive under the town center right now. What does State have to deal with this? It looks like just building infrastructure, making it really hard for cavalry to move around, and I like that. You know, enough for your throwing axemen to get through, for your infantry to run through pretty smoothly, but with a larger radius, making it more difficult for any horse unit to get through there, including the Valkyrie. But this mass is just strictly not big enough to take this fight. We'll have to see if Grass's army is here. We'll go to reveal that it looks like Grass's army's all over the place, dealing with some raids back at home, just a little bit of raids. So we're getting some free damage there on the buildings. Looks like we're probably going to lose this raiding army. We do have a complete surround here, so these are all going to go down. Nice little grab though. Forest fire just thrown out because you can, really, at this point. I think that's about it. That's not going to accomplish anything major at this point. But all this time, taking down a bit of infrastructure. We do have State pushing out an aggressive. My only concern is this is quite a lot of throwing axemen without a lot of herdmen, given that this is the opposing army and it's basically all those cavalry units. So maybe anticipating a pivot from his opponent, but I think we'd like to see more herdmen. But again, I keep going back to it, but I really think it's starting to be exposed. He just doesn't know what his opponent has. You know, this is all he's seen for infrastructure, and he just scouted that out. So now he sees a decent amount of buildings, but you don't know where else Grass is expanded at this point. You really can't see, and he's looking out. Looks like there's a bit of the raid on the dwarfs over here, over on the hunt, but I don't think any have gone down. I'm not seeing any bodies still around, so it looks like responds just in time to keep those alive. They are getting low, and again, we're going to have a surround here, and these raiding cav are going to go down. It looks like, I like how State is taking advantage of this though. He's putting out just small raids, enough to threat, and then looking for damage on infrastructure outside of that, saying, I need to push you out before I can take over this hunt. And let's see what he's doing to deal with, yeah, this is what he's doing to deal with the lack of food. He's doing nothing. He's got no food supply. So unless you're going farms in an already crowded base, where are you going to get your food? And now we do see the wall starting to get hit. We do get the tower upgrades at this point, which I like, but unfortunately that wall does not connect. And now these dwarfs, they're going to start having to run back, and we do see heroic age coming in. It is being upgraded on the other side as well, going through Braggy, but instead we get Frost in the Mountain Giants out here for Grass. We'll have to see, because I think one Frost can immediately end this game. I almost would be okay with frosting the dwarfs as well, just cutting off the economy completely, but we'll have to see how he uses it. Let's go ahead and see what State can see defending his base. Raiding cav going out that way. Dwarf's gonna have to walk all the way back around here, even going out to the chickens with just an insane number of dwarfs. The food so bad, and I would like to just see a couple of farms at this point. Just put one at a time, you know, get a little bit of food income, because you know you're gonna need a transition. You're realistically not pushing out onto this in the next couple of minutes, and I guess that explains the throwing axemen numbers, right? Because we don't have food supplies, so that's the unit that we can make. That's why we've got more of these in the army, and that's probably why Grass is mostly just going raiding cav, because he knows there's no food supply here. Maybe he hasn't had the full picture of the base at this point, but we do see the raid coming in up top, and there's just no warning time. The units just suddenly appear here. We do see the counter age up, so that's enough to actually push Grass back. He says, I do not want to take this fight with flaming weapons until I get a better angle. Looks like he may try and take down the wall. And these walls, I mean, they're not super durable, but you can see it does dissuade for a bit, allows State to take a couple units, so it did do the job, you know, slow down the aggression, really saved the 10 seconds he needed to get flaming weapons up to be able to take that fight if he had to. But we have to wonder, what does the mass look like at this point? We've got units up here, we've got more units coming up, and we got units. They found the dwarfs, and this is the last gold he's got those units up there for a reason. Flaming weapons coming out. We do have the full-on engage. We'll have to see how Frost is used, but does he even need it to take this fight? It looks like Frost is going to be used, and that leaves them to clean up the herdmen, and it looks like pretty much all the units actually get frosted. So now we have to wonder, what does he do with this advantage? We are heroic age. We can start dropping hill forts at this point. There are a decent amount of throwing axemen numbers. Maybe we'll drop our hill fort inside of the base, but we don't see anything like that quite yet. Frost, oh, and there it goes. Hill fort coming up. That's what we expect to see. Maybe, yeah, just needed the wood. He needed a bit more wood to get that up, so perfect timing. Just enough to get that hill fort up right next to the gold. And you gotta think this is game over, right? If you can't get to this gold, and you can't get to the hunt here, at that point, you can't even use the market to get out of this situation. You've got no resources altogether. And we do see flaming weapons now dropping off completely over, and we do have Frost ending in about 10 seconds. We do have the Goaty coming out to try and take down the Frost Giant, but it's actually still holding quite strong. Almost has taken out the Battleboard completely, and that Battleboard not going to get its special attack off, so this makes the fight really positive looking here for Grass. He's got plenty of throwing Axeman numbers to take down the Herdman if he gets them on the Herdman right here, and those are going to go down. And although this hill fort maybe isn't in the best position, this is enough to dissuade the dwarves. He's actually going to pull him over because he knows he has no choice. He needs to start gathering this gold or else he can't buy any more units. Actually pulling them away at this point. This is looking really bad. Just down to throwing Axeman now, and you can be patient here as Grass. You don't need to take a fight as long as they're not getting gold, as long as they're not getting food. He's doing the right thing. Let's see what State sees. Running away from this position, he can see the whole area, and at this point now he can't see where the units are exactly. He does know they're there. I like this move, saying I can't go this way, there's a hill fort, I have to push out, and pushing out with the entire army, bringing the entire economic population there. But look at these units, they are so low, and I almost think a recast forest fire, you could probably get 6 or 7 units with that forest fire with how low those are. So we'll have to see if we can get something like that, make it less expensive. Come on, let us cast multiple times, it's not that good. But we got the army coming pushing back out here. We don't see any move up north quite yet, I don't believe. A little bit of raids out here. Okay, so finding the gold gatherers. Great call from Grass, checking the other gold. And then at the same time as he does that, the micro in 2 places, pulling in the army here. I don't think the Goaty numbers are enough, and yes, that's going to be it. That's the surrender. And I think my takeaway from this game is be careful picking Thor into Grass, because wow, look at that, just tactically picking out the exact points on the map, on a map like Giza, where there's very specific points where the hunt and the gold are, and they're usually quite far away from the base. And even State kind of getting lucky, I think, with having a gold mine so far back. It looks like it was the same on this particular map, but Giza isn't always like that, where you have one all the way in the back corner. So just great, amazing moves from Grass. I almost want to rewatch it only from his perspective, but it was fun to see the whole time that State had no idea what was coming his way. Even at the very end, you know, had one raiding army come through the back, but outside of that, didn't even get to scout most of the map there. It's a great game. I think it was a great game from Grass. I hope everyone enjoyed that. We are going to have Grass and Groom playing inside of the Underworld Showdown on October 20th. We will be announcing the matchups this week, so stay tuned for that. But I'm looking forward to that tournament, and we will see everyone in the next one.